My friend, I want to speak to you plainly today, not as someone above you, but as someone walking the same road. The title of this message is one that stirs the soul. Why your ignorance is blocking your success. Now I know that strong word, ignorance. It stings a little when we hear it, doesn't it? But let me tell you, it's not meant to shame you. It's meant to wake you up. Because there are people sitting in this room or listening from a distance whose lives have been held back not by a lack of opportunity, but by a lack of understanding. Ignorance is not harmless. It's not a cute little thing you can carry around and say, oh, I just knew it's not a thief. But let me ask you something. How can you walk into your destiny when you don't even know where the past begins? How can you build a life of strength, of purpose, of excellence, of aligned to the truth that would set you free? There are people with great dreams, mighty gifts, deep desires, but they are stuck. Why? Because they won't pick up the tools of growth. They won't seek knowledge. They've grown comfortable in the dark. Hear me now. Your success it's being blocked by what you refuse to see. You cannot fix what you will not face. You say, but I didn't know. Then learn. You say, I've never done this before. Then start. You say, I'm afraid. Then walk anyway. Not because you're fearless, but because you're called to more than what you've settled for. There is a better version of you waiting to rise up, a wiser version, a stronger version. But that version will never awaken as long as you guard your ignorance like a treasure. You weren't made for shadows. You were made for light. And the moment you open your heart, your mind, your spirit, the light will pour in, and the road ahead will start to clear. My dear friend, don't let ignorance keep you from the life you were created to live. Seek truth. Seek wisdom. Step into light and walk boldly into your future. There are many people who believe that not knowing is somehow pure, that not understanding is somehow safe, that if they don't see it, then maybe it isn't real, and if they don't learn it, then maybe it doesn't matter. But my friend, I'm here to tell you that ignorance is not a soft place to fall. It is not some sweet excuse that shelters you from life's demands and snow. It is a barrier. It is a wall-built brick by brick out of fear, pride, and comfort. And while you may not feel the weight of it all at once, you will see the way it slows you down, blinds your steps, slows you down, blinds your steps, and shuts the door to opportunities that were always meant to be yours. Because every time you say, I didn't know, when you could have known, every time you say, I've never heard that, when you could have listened, every time you shrug and walk away from something that requires you to stretch, to study, to see. You are not escaping pressure. You are surrendering power. And what you're really doing is handing over the keys to your potential, saying, I'll lock it up, I'm not ready. While deep inside your spirit knows, your heart aches, your mind whispers, oh, but we were made for more than this. We were born to break through. Ignorance is not passive. It's not just the absence of information. It's the active resistance of growth. It's the turning away when truth knocks at your door. It's the shutting of the eyes when the light gets too. It's the rejection of wisdom because you've grown too comfortable with confusion, too attached to the safety of not knowing. But how can you build something real if you refuse to see things clearly? How can you chase greatness when you're still clinging to excuses? How can you say you want success when you're unwilling to step into the spotlight of responsibility, of discipline, of hard truth? Because let me tell you, the shadows will offer you comfort, but they will never offer you progress. They will whisper that you're safe here, that you can rest here, that no one will challenge you here. But they never tell you that nothing grows here. They never tell you that dreams die here. They never tell you that time slips away. The light exposes what the dark hides, and that's why people fear it, because the light will show you your weakness. It will reveal your wounds. It will put your habits on display. It will confront your laziness and call out your pride. But it will also show you the door. It will show you the path. It will show you what needs to change so you can rise. And yes, the truth hurts, but it also heals. And if you're serious about success, you can't keep living in half-truths and pretending that one day it'll all magically work out. You see, some people are so afraid of being seen that they sabotage their own growth. They dim their own light so they don't have to be accountable. They keep their talents buried because exposure would mean effort, would mean risk, would mean showing up every day with excellence and not just emotion. And so they retreat to the shadows and call it peace. They hide and call it humility. But God did not give you gifts so you could hide them. He did not give you vision so you could bury it in fear. He did not give you life so you could merely survive it. He gave it so you could live it. And living requires light. You can't lead from the shadows. You can't create from the shadows. You can't thrive from the shadows because the shadows may protect your ego, but they'll poison your purpose. They may keep you from criticism, but they'll also keep you from calling. And the longer you stay in the shade, the more you'll shrink from the sun until one day you look around and realize you've built a life so far from the light that even your own reflection looks unfamiliar. Some of you have been hiding too long, waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready. But success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It waits for you to step boldly into the light and say, here I am, flaws and all, but I'm willing, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to do the hard work in front of the world if that's what it takes. Because the light doesn't just expose, it empowers. It doesn't just reveal, it refines. And everything you're praying for, everything you're hoping, everything you were meant for is waiting just beyond the veil of your comfort. And no, stepping into the light won't be easy because the light demands integrity. It demands truth. It demands transparency. And the shadows never asked you for that. But what did they give you in return? Silence, stagnation, wasted time, smallness disguised as safety, and I don't know about you. But I'd rather stumble in the light than stand still in the dark. I'd rather be seen failing than be hidden fading. I'd rather be alive in purpose than asleep in fear, because success is not found in the night. It rises with the sun, and it waits for those who are willing to rise with it. So come out of hiding, step into your truth, stand in the fire of the light, and let it purify, not punish you. Let it build, not break you. Because the light is not your enemy. It's your guide, it's your promise, it's your confirmation that you were never meant to live small, never meant to live hidden, never meant to live in the shadows. You were meant to shine. You were meant to walk in clarity. You were meant to live wide awake. And the moment you step into the light is the moment your success stops being a dream and starts becoming your life. Pride, my friend, is a sneaky thing, a silent companion that creeps into your soul and convinces you that you know enough, that you've arrived, that there's nothing more to learn. It's this very pride that becomes the fortress around your ignorance, the walls that shield you from the truth, the bricks that prevent you from stepping into your full potential. Because as long as pride stands guard, you can live in the illusion of comfort, in the false belief that ignorance is a safe haven, that not knowing is somehow excusable. But make no mistake, pride doesn't protect you in prison. It's easy to fall into pride. It's easy to convince yourself that you've seen it all, that you've heard enough, that you've done enough. And while the world around you is growing, adapting, and changing, you sit behind the walls of your pride, holding on to old knowledge, outdated beliefs, and unchallenged thoughts because they feel familiar, because they're comfortable, because they don't demand growth. And that's why pride wraps itself around you like armor, not to protect you, but to keep you small, to keep you hidden from the truth you don't want to face. And it's that very ignorance that holds you back from the future that's calling you. But here's the reality. Pride doesn't make you strong. It makes you weak because it refuses to acknowledge the areas where you still need to grow. It makes you blind to the very things that would free you. And while you think pride is building you up, it's actually lowering your capacity. It's robbing you of the ability to receive wisdom, to seek understanding, to ask for help. And it's this fortress of pride that locks the door to your success and throws away the key, leaving you stuck in the same place while the world moves forward. When you build your life around pride, you become a prisoner of your own making, hiding behind the false notion that you have all the answers, that you don't need anyone's input, that you don't need to learn anything new. That's not just your ignorance that gets protected, it's your fears, your insecurities, your failures, your shame, because pride doesn't just protect ignorance. It shields you from confronting the parts of yourself that would change if you were willing to see them. It protects the parts of your character that need refining, that need challenge, that need truth. The more pride you have, the less likely you are to see the blind spots, to recognize the flaws, to admit that you don't know it all. And that's when life will start slipping through your fingers. Because success demands a humble heart, a teachable spirit, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone and look at things with fresh eyes. But pride keeps you wrapped in your own limited perspective, closing off the possibilities that come with learning, growth, and adaptation, telling you that you're already enough when the truth is you were made for more than what you are right now. The danger of pride is that it feeds itself. The more you cling to it, the more you close yourself off from the truth, and the more your ignorance grows, until one day you look around and realize you've built a life that looks nothing like the one you dreamed of. A life where opportunities pass you by because you were too proud to admit that you could do better. that you could learn more, that you could grow in ways that would push you toward the success you've been longing for. But all of that lies just outside the fortress of pride, just beyond the walls you've erected around your ignorance. You have to understand that pride is a thief, not a protector, and it will steal from you the very things that make life worth living: knowledge, understanding, progress, and connection. It will leave you isolated, stuck, and unable to move forward, because the moment you think you have all the answers is the moment you stop searching for them. The moment you think you don't need help is the moment you stop growing. And if you want to succeed, you must first tear down the walls. Shatter the fortress of pride that keeps you comfortable in your ignorance, and open yourself up to the possibility that there is always more to learn, more to discover, and more to become. So take down the walls, my friend, and let the light of knowledge pour in. Let the courage within us. And to let go of the pride that stands in the way of their true potential. Because only when you allow yourself to be vulnerable to truth, only when you release the protection of ignorance will you find the freedom to rise to the heights of success that were always meant to be yours. You cannot conquer what you will not confront, my friend, because victory does not come by running from your battles. It doesn't come by pretending that the giants in your life don't exist. It doesn't come by hiding in the corners of your mind, hoping that if you close your eyes tight enough, the storm will pass, the darkness will disappear, and the challenges will just fade away. No, success demands that you stand face to face with your fears, your doubts, your struggles, your weaknesses, and your past. And it's only when you stare them down, when you confront them head on, that you gain the strength to rise up and claim what you were meant to have. For as long as you ignore the obstacles before you, as long as you allow the things that scare you, the things that challenge you, the things that make you uncomfortable, to fester in the shadows of your mind, you are not walking toward freedom. You are walking in circles, trapped in a maze of your own making, because every step you take without confronting the truth is a step deeper into the place that keeps you stuck, and nothing will change until you decide to face it, until you choose to challenge it, until you rise up and say, I will not be ruled by fear. I will not be conquered by doubt. I will confront this and I will overcome. Confrontation is not easy. I'll tell you that right now. And there are times when it feels easier to pretend that the problem isn't there, to tell yourself that you can manage, that you can make it through without addressing the hard things. But let me remind you that it is not what you run from that will destroy you. It's what you refuse to face that will keep you from the life you were meant to live. What you avoid that will find a way to creep up and block your path. It's the problems you refuse to confront that will only grow bigger, stronger, and more difficult until one day you find yourself drowning in a storm of your own avoidance, wishing you had confronted it when you had the chance. The truth is, every victory begins with confrontation. Every breakthrough starts with a moment of honest self-reflection. And if you refuse to face the parts of yourself that need healing, the areas of your life that need growth, the obstacles that stand in your way, then you will always be limited by the invisible walls you've built around your heart and mind, and success will remain a distant dream, a goal you can never quite reach. Because the first step to conquering anything, is having the courage to look at it, to see it for what it is, to refuse to back. So many people talk about wanting success, about wanting change, about wanting growth, but they miss the most important step. They miss the step of confronting their own limitations, their own fears, their own failures, and until you confront the things that are holding you back, until you look in the mirror and acknowledge the things you've been avoiding, the things you've been hiding from, you are simply going in circles, chasing something you can't catch because you haven't dealt with the very thing that keeps you from. You cannot conquer what you will not confront, because the battle is never won by ignoring the enemy. It's won by understanding your adversary, by facing it, by studying it, by learning how to outsmart it, how to outlast it, how to defeat it. And that's the same for the battles in your life. If you keep running, if you keep pretending, if you keep avoiding, then you will never learn the lessons. You will never gain the wisdom. You will never develop the strength to overcome your fears and choosing to grow through them. The power to conquer is in your hands right now, but it will never be unlocked by running away from what you fear, from what you avoid, from what you resist, because every time you step toward your challenges, you step toward your victory, and every time you confront what you wish to avoid, you gain the courage to move forward, you gain the insight to break free, you gain the confidence to claim what you've been waiting for, and this is the key. The moment you stop running and start confronting, the moment you stop hiding and start standing, is the moment that the chains of fear, doubt, and limitation fall away, and you step into the freedom that's been waiting for you all along. So today is the day, my friend, the day you make the decision to stop pretending, to stop running, to stop hiding, and to start confronting. Confront your fears, confront your limitations, confront the doubts that have kept you stuck, confront your past, and let it go. Only then will you find the power to conquer, only then will you unlock the door to success, because you cannot conquer what you will not confront. But the moment you choose to face it, that is the moment your victory begins. Learning is the ladder to your calling, my friend, because without learning, you will never climb to the heights that are waiting for you. Without the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, without the willingness to grow, to stretch, to evolve, you will stay grounded in a place that cannot contain the dreams that were placed inside you. And as long as you remain where you are, as long as you refuse to ascend to higher ground, you will never reach the purpose, the calling, the destiny that is yours. Because it is only through learning that you gain the strength, the clarity, and the courage to rise to the place you were born to be. It's not enough to desire success, to wish for change, to dream of a life of purpose. You must be willing to climb the ladder one step at a time, no matter how steep the climb, no matter how heavy the load, no matter how much effort it takes. Because each step, each piece of knowledge you gain, each lesson you learn is a rung that brings you closer to your calling, closer to the person you are meant to become, and each step you avoid, each lesson you neglect, each opportunity to grow that you reject is a step that keeps you from the place where your true potential lies. Many people underestimate the power of learning. They believe that what they know right now is enough, that the experiences they've had so far have taught them everything they need to know, but that is where they miss it. The climb doesn't stop once you've learned a little. It doesn't stop when you've gained some wisdom. It doesn't stop at the level you're at, because life keeps changing. The world keeps evolving. Your calling keeps expanding. And if you stop learning, if you stop climbing, if you stop stretching your mind and your spirit, then you will be left behind, stuck in a place where your potential can no longer grow. The ladder to your calling isn't always easy, it isn't always smooth, and it isn't always comfortable, because each new step challenges you, each new piece of learning pushes you beyond your comfort zone, each new skill you gain demands that you rise to meet it. But let me tell you, the discomfort is worth it, because as you climb, you not only gain new knowledge, you gain new strength, new perspective, and new understanding. And these are the very things that will equip you to step into your calling, to fulfill your purpose, to live the life that was designed for you. Learning is the tool that sharpens your mind, that expands your vision, that opens doors to new opportunities. And without it, you will be left fumbling in the dark, trying to navigate your way without the clarity and direction that learning provides. And while the world around you grows, you will remain stuck in the same place, struggling to keep up, trying to catch up, when all along the answer is within your reach. Because every step up the ladder is a step closer to the person you were meant to become, the life you were meant to live, and the purpose you were meant to fulfill. Every time you learn, every time you embrace the discomfort of growth, every time you expand your mind, your heart, your skill set, you are becoming the person who is capable of fulfilling your calling. Because your calling is not just about having a vision or a dream. It's about being equipped to live it. And learning is the process that equips you. It's the fire that refines you. It's the path that prepares you for the work that lies ahead. And without it, your calling will remain a distant vision, a far-off dream. Because you cannot reach your destiny if you refuse to climb the ladder, if you refuse to invest in yourself, if you refuse to do the work required to ascend. So if you want to see the fullness of your calling unfold, if you want to experience the depth and breadth of the purpose that has been written into your life, you must commit to the climb. You must commit to the learning, because the ladder may seem long, the steps may seem difficult, but each one brings you closer. Each one strengthens you for the journey. Each one builds your capacity to carry the weight of your purpose. And if you keep climbing, if you keep learning, you will look back one day and realize that every moment of struggle, every moment of doubt, every moment of discomfort was worth it, because you are now standing in the place where your calling is being fulfilled, and you'll see that the climb was never a burden, but a blessing. So take the first step today, climb the ladder. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for everything to align, because the ladder to your calling is waiting for you right now. And each rung you step onto, each new lesson you embrace, is one step closer to the life that was designed for you. One step closer to the purpose that was always meant to be yours. And the only thing standing between you and your destiny is the willingness to keep climbing, keep learning, and keep moving forward, because you cannot conquer what you were made for if you won't confront the ladder before you. And the ladder is built one step at a time with every lesson you choose to learn. Ignorance is not permanent unless you protect it, because the truth is that ignorance by nature is a temporary condition, a phase that can be corrected, a shadow that can be cast out by the light of knowledge, but only if you're willing to step into that light, only if you're willing to seek, to ask, to learn, to grow, because the moment you choose to remain in ignorance, the moment you decide that what you don't know doesn't matter, you are actively choosing to protect your own limitations, your own blind spots, your own walls. And you'll find that the very thing holding you back is the comfort of not knowing, the ease of not confronting the gaps in your understanding. But ignorance only holds you captive if you give it that power, if you protect it by refusing to seek truth, to question assumptions, and to challenge what you think you know. When you protect ignorance, when you allow it to fester, to settle in your life, it starts to shape your reality. It starts to limit your opportunities. It starts to dictate your choices. And before you know it, you build a life based on things that aren't true, based on assumptions that don't hold up, based on beliefs that are misguided and misinformed. And because you refuse to confront them, because you keep them hidden behind a veil of pride or fear or laziness, they become permanent fixtures in your mind. Anchors that keep you stuck in a cycle of limitation, keeping you from ever reaching your true potential, your true calling, your true purpose. The longer you protect ignorance, the more it grows, the more it spreads, because ignorance thrives in the absence of curiosity, in the absence of questioning, in the absence of a desire to learn. And if you allow it to remain unchecked, it will expand. It will control your decisions. It will shape your future in ways you can't even begin to see. And what once may have seemed like a harmless choice to avoid learning, to ignore the truth, becomes the very thing that defines the direction of your life. And soon, you'll find yourself living a reality that's built on falsehoods, on incomplete knowledge, on a misunderstanding of who you are and what you're capable of. You see, ignorance isn't some immutable state. It's a condition that can be undone, a gap in your understanding that can be filled, a blind spot that can be corrected, but only if you confront it, only if you choose to stop protecting, only if you choose to break down the walls of comfort that you built around it, and that's the key. Knowledge doesn't come to those who are content with what they know. It doesn't come to those who are satisfied with their own limited view. It comes to those who seek, who ask, who push beyond the surface of their own understanding, who are willing to get uncomfortable and admit that there is more to learn, that there is more to discover, and that there are truths waiting to be uncovered if only they're willing to step out of ignorance and into the light of awareness. To protect ignorance is to protect your own stagnation, to protect your own limitations, to protect your own failures. And when you choose to live in ignorance, you are choosing to live in a place where growth cannot exist, where progress cannot thrive, where you remain trapped in the same patterns, the same cycles, the same failures, because you are unwilling to face the hard truths, unwilling to face the uncomfortable realities, unwilling to admit that there are areas of your life, areas of your thinking, areas of your spirit that need to be transformed. But when you protect ignorance, you also protect your inability to change, to grow, to evolve into the person you were meant to be, and that's the real danger. But the beauty of it is that ignorance doesn't have to be permanent. It only becomes permanent when you choose to guard it, when you choose to shield yourself from knowledge, from truth, from new perspectives, and when you start to let go of the idea that you have all the answers, when you start to admit that there are things you don't know, when you start to embrace learning as a lifelong process, that's when the walls of ignorance begin to crumble. That's when the veil begins to lift. And that's when you start to see the world and yourself in a whole new light. To break free from ignorance, you must first recognize that it is not something that will simply disappear on its own. It's not something that will fade if you ignore it long enough. It's not something that will fix itself. It's something you must confront, something you must choose to challenge, something you must actively work to overcome. And that means making the decision to step outside your comfort zone, to ask the difficult questions, to face the things you've been avoiding, to unlearn the false beliefs that have held you back, and to allow the light of knowledge to shine into every corner of your life, because once you decide to stop protecting ignorance, you will start to see the opportunities, the growth, the transformation that have always been there waiting for you to step into them. So, my friend, let today be the day you stop protecting ignorance. Let today be the day you decide that you are no longer content with what you know, no longer satisfied. Because ignorance may not be permanent, but if you choose to protect it, it will remain a part of your life, blocking your progress, hindering your growth, and keeping you from the success, the freedom, the fulfillment that is waiting for you on the other side of knowledge. And once you let go of ignorance, you will find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. And the only thing standing between you and the life you're meant to live is the courage to stop protecting the very thing that's been holding you back.